Good evening to you. Here at 11 o'clock, I'm Mark Mullins, bringing you the news tonight from my home.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. In 1 hour, most of Indiana will enter stage 3 of the state's back on track reopening plan. And that means social gatherings can include up to 100 people. Community pools and campgrounds can open. Retail stores and malls can be open at 75% capacity. And gyms and fitness centers can open with restrictions.
One central Indiana gym is wasting no time getting back to business. Barks Fitness in Fishers plans to open the minute they're allowed. That's 1 minute after midnight. The owner spent the day adjusting to the gym's setup, spacing machines appropriately. Amanda Barks says that it has been challenging for the small business to be closed for the last 2 months. She's ready to get members back on track.
Kind of excited. I think everyone is, looking forward to just being back in the gym and seeing their friends again, even if that means, social distancing.
Staff members will wear masks, but they will be optional for people working out. The gym is also offering a shortened 3-month membership deal if you want to work out, but maybe your gym has not opened yet. There is no timeline for gyms to open in Marion County. Marion County does not enter stage 3 tomorrow and has not yet moved into some phases of stage 2 even. Personal service businesses like salons and barbershops still cannot open, and indoor dining is not allowed. Both are restricted until at least June 1st. But starting tomorrow, Marion County restaurants will be allowed to open outdoor dining areas.
And we first told you Monday at 11, several streets around Indianapolis will temporarily close starting tomorrow to make room for street side dining. While it's an opportunity for some restaurants, it feels like a roadblock for others. WRTV's Cameron Riddle talked with business owners on Mass Ave who want the road closure to end before it even begins.
On Mass Ave, it's reopening day for Silver in the City. Store owner Kristen Kahn is wearing the same dress today that she wore when she opened her doors for the first time 20 years ago. While today should be a celebration, it feels like a setback.
Today is supposed to be the restart, and what we've got is DPW putting up the blockades right now.
While the street closures and outdoor dining that begin Friday may be good news for some restaurants, Khan says it's another hurdle for customers and businesses that don't serve food.
They placed orders expecting to be able to pull up and pick them up. The streets are going to be closed by this afternoon, so they'll have to be rerouted, figure out parking, and then park and walk up, or, ask us to run it out a block away. And we honestly don't have the staff to do that right now.
Khan's name is among a list of business owners who signed a letter asking the mayor and the city county council to immediately stop the plans to close Mass Ave. Bill Pritt owns sushi restaurant 45 Degrees and frozen yogurt shop Yoga Latte, both on Mass Ave. He says city leaders never asked them if closing the street was something they wanted, and first learned about it on the news.
I've managed to carve out a pretty successful carry-out and delivery business, which I'm concerned about. And right now it's working for us. I know other shops and other businesses have carved out different ways to survive right now as well. But closing off the road is kind of be like suffocating the commerce that we are able to have right now.
Social distancing is also a concern. In the letter to city leaders, business owners say, quote, funneling the city's population to Mass Ave for what will be, in essence, a street fair with alcohol after 3 months of quarantine is a recipe for disaster.
We've got a disease that we're trying to fight, and I'm sorry, it just doesn't make sense to say, hey, come out to the street fair when the whole point is, stay home and stay safe, right?
Both Pritt and Kahn say if it were up to them, restaurants would still be able to do their outdoor dining, but they wouldn't be closing any streets. As you can see here tonight, the street barricades and signs are already in place. On Mass Ave tonight, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Thank you, Cameron, for that. And the mayor's office released a statement in response to criticism over the Mass Ave closure, saying, quote, from day one, our primary goal has been to balance public health with the well-being of local businesses. The creative approach we announced earlier this week is meant to prioritize the critical need for social distancing in our pedestrian-heavy corridors, while also increasing opportunities for businesses to expand their footprint. We remain committed to continuing conversations with stakeholders in all of the impacted areas in order to identify challenges and alleviate issues, end quote.
We spoke to some other Mass Ave business owners who say they're not against the changes and they look forward to serving customers outside.
Mass Ave sort of has always run like a unit. We're all sort of one big family. So we understand the frustrations of everybody, but we're feeling pretty optimistic about it.
We're just kind of hoping that, people understand that we're excited to have them back out and that, this is a safe way to kind of get back into that.
The city says 20 businesses on Mass Ave have expressed interest in utilizing additional outdoor space. 12 have completed the application process for outdoor amenities.
Now to the latest on the toll the pandemic is taking on Hoosier lives. 1,764 people in Indiana have died from COVID-19, according to the State Department of Health. 48 of those deaths were reported between May 2nd and yesterday. Nearly 203,000 people have been tested for the virus. Just under 15% have tested positive.
The rate of infection is still climbing in some places, and that's part of the reason that experts are cautioning against reopening too fast. ABC's Zoreen Shah reports President Trump has a new message for businesses if a second wave does hit.
As experts continue warning of a rise in infections, President Trump remained determined Thursday that another shutdown would not happen.
Whether it's an ember or a flame, we're going to put it out. But we're not closing our country.
CDC Director Robert Redfield says a second wave is coming. Dr. Anthony Fauci warning against relaxing restrictions too quickly.
Now is not the time to tempt fate.
Their warnings coming as states like Virginia, North Carolina, Minnesota, Arkansas, North Dakota, and Maine seeing more cases. Alabama with one of the sharpest upward trends, over 600 testing positive in the last day. Despite the spike in Hoover, nearly 400 students graduating while socially distancing. With every state at least partially back open, Columbia University now saying 2 out of 3 deaths could have been avoided if government officials had done more. The death rate much higher in places like the Bronx, where the poverty rate hits more than a quarter of households. The pressure mounting on some families there.
My husband is also an essential worker, and his shift has changed. He now works nights.
Many families worried about the growing unemployment numbers. Another 2.4 million Americans filing for unemployment in the last week, close to Houston's entire population, bringing the total number of unemployed close to 38 million since the pandemic started. President Trump on Thursday with a close eye on how businesses are adapting, visiting a Ford plant to building ventilators.
Today we're celebrating these great companies doing ventilators and other equipment, but we have a very, very specific plan.
He remained several feet apart from others, but chose not to wear a mask, even as others did.
Not necessary here. Well, everybody's been tested, and I've been tested.
While President Trump was in Michigan today, Vice President Pence heading to Georgia tomorrow to talk to their governor, both election battleground states. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The Rebound Indiana is connecting you to resources to help you rebound from the economic crisis caused by the pandemic. From employment help to budgeting, housing assistance, and much more, the Hawthorne Community Center offers many services. Nakia Thomas was staying at a shelter when she first learned about the center. She has 5 children. 4 are under the age of 18. Hawthorne helped find childcare and helped cover her rent when she had to self-quarantine and could not work at her job as a nursing assistant.
I don't even have the words to express how much they have came, through for me or done for me. Just simple things that, it might not seem like a lot, but when you don't have it, it's a lot.
There's always a traditional need for these basic needs services, but the increase, has been really almost exponential, just looking at the weekly calls that we're getting.
Executive Director Caleb Sutton says the Hawthorne Center has created emergency response teams to handle the increased need in the community. For more information, you can go to theindychannel.com/rebound.
As the country continues to rebound, there's a shift in the types of jobs that are hiring Hoosiers and also how companies are handling the interview and vetting process. Jobs website Monster is reporting an increase in searches with the words graphic designer and UI developer. UI stands for user interface. That's someone who makes software easier to use. There's also an increase in business operations positions. Frontline healthcare workers, delivery and truck drivers are also in demand. Monster's career expert says furloughed and laid off workers should think outside of the box.
So it may not necessarily be their current position or most recent position. They're using their transferable skill sets to other similar roles, which is what we recommend.
Monster has created specific resources for job seekers. There's a new nursing job site for recent grads and in-demand positions. It includes advice to get hired in healthcare without specific certifications. Monster also partnered with CVS to post 10,000 essential job listings, and positions in long-term senior care are highlighted. You can take advantage of free job listings through the end of the month.
I wouldn't sit this one out. I would keep your eye on the prize, stay focused, stay determined, interview, apply to jobs as soon as you see them online. You can set up job alerts on Monster for free. They'll land in your inbox. I'm a former corporate recruiter, and I could say you should really apply the same day and just treat this seriously so you can ace that job interview at home.
You can find more job advice from industry experts on Monster's Instagram page. And go to hiringhoosiers.com for local job postings, links to apply, and other career resources.
Teenagers may have a difficult time continuing to social distance with the school year ending. Next, how to help teens understand the risks and restrictions.
We're not going to be back to 100%, but you know what? America at 75% is still better than any other place on the planet.
And a little later, why some major tourist attractions are opening to the public, even though they'll lose money. Kevin.
This gives you a big indication of the change that's on the way. Here's our coolest temperature in the 7-day planner. We'll talk about that coming up.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Workers on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic are finding different ways to grieve. Today, Seasons Hospice and Fishers took part in a lantern release. They wanted to honor their staff members who worked tirelessly, especially during this difficult time. The event also honored the memory of residents who lost their lives to the virus. Organizers say acknowledging their pain is an important part of the healing process.
Recognizing the staff here, our seasoned staff, of all the difficulties we've gone through with the COVID-19, and just being together and recognizing the pain that we've all gone through and the hardships that it's been during this time, but also a chance for us to recognize that and to heal from that.
The Hearth at Windermere, an assisted living facility that works closely with hospice, hosted the event.
Social distancing will be more of a challenge as things start to reopen. Psychologists say it could be particularly difficult for teenagers.
The pretty typical experience of teens and young adults to feel relatively invincible, their tolerance for risk, their challenges with brain development in terms of recognizing risk and decision making creates this kind of perfect storm for feeling like this isn't going to affect me, so I can go out and do whatever I want to do.
Dr. Valerie Crabtree is the head of psychosocial services at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. She says the end of remote learning and the school year will also create new pressures for teens. Most hang out with friends or work part-time over the summer, which may not be the options in the coming months. Dr. Crabtree says discussing boundaries can help.
It doesn't have to be we're stuck inside and we can't leave our home, or all bets are off and we'll go party out on the beach or whatever. That there's a middle ground, and really helping teens make those decisions. And some of it may be setting limits.
St. Jude has a new resource specifically aimed at helping teens get through this difficult time. So go to together.stjude.org and type coronavirus in the search bar.
Missing out on senior year rites of passage like prom and graduation may also be tough on teenagers. People across the community are working together to celebrate those students in other ways. This afternoon, police escorted students through a Noblesville neighborhood for a graduation parade. Seniors, as well as students who will head to high school in the fall and kids who will be going into middle school, participated. They showed off their class of 2020 spirit, and some students wore their cap and gowns as they cruised around. Kevin.
How fun is that? Temperatures as we go to the weekend will start warming up significantly. We're at 59 degrees right now. There's some drizzle and fog, and I think that will be with us first thing in the morning tomorrow. Then we'll transition to getting some sunshine back into the picture by Friday afternoon. Out of the next 7 days, 6 will be in the 80s. We'll grab hold of the warmth. We'll hold on to it. You'll notice the humidity definitely as we get into early next week. Temperatures climb into the 70s tomorrow. That's our first step forward. Then we finish the job getting to 80 or above Saturday and staying there as we get into early next week. Rain probabilities, other than the drizzle I just mentioned in the morning tomorrow, will be really low Friday. And Saturday, Sunday, chance for thunderstorms at about 40%. Better chance you stay dry. Those will be triggered during the heat of the day. The most numerous thunderstorms are likely, best coverage Monday and Tuesday. Temperature trend. There's the temperature scale as we go through Memorial Day. Temperature of about 84. That picks up on Sunday, continues into Monday, and be the first time we really start to talk about and feel some humidity. You'll notice that Sunday and through much of next week. That's one of the building blocks for thunderstorms. Friday forecast does not include any thunderstorms. Does include some sunshine in the afternoon. Temperatures will respond to that, and a change in the wind direction. That will be key here as we go through the next few days. About average for temperatures to end the work week. Then we'll start to warm up as we go to the weekend. From Friday morning to Saturday afternoon, watch the wind. It's not particularly strong. What happens is it changes direction, though, more of a southerly wind, and that will warm us up. 80 degrees, Logansport, Kokomo, and Marion. As you come into central Indiana, lower 80s, and the humidity still not bad on Saturday. I think you'll really start to notice it more Sunday and then early next week. As far as Sunday, temperatures consistently warmer, should be around 84 in the metro area, but our thunderstorm chances climb as scattered thunderstorms are likely Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures are still in the mid-80s Wednesday and Thursday of next week. You need some strategy if you want to get your yard work done, get it in a state of perfection. Do that by Sunday, dodging any isolated thunderstorms over the weekend because it may get a little wet early next week. Enjoy the warmth.
Good to know. Thank you, Kevin. As states slowly start to reopen, some tourist attractions are also getting back to business. But as Scripps reporter Jessica Parrish shows, sightseeing experiences will be different.
In Tennessee, Graceland, the 13-acre estate once owned by Elvis Presley, is opening to visitors, but with major limitations.
What are some of the precautions you guys are taking?
It's top to bottom. It's, taking people's temperatures, providing all of the employees with masks, basically providing, antiseptic soap every time you turn around.
But most of the tourist attractions opening are outdoor venues. In Atlanta, Georgia, the Botanical Gardens and Zoo Atlanta have opened to visitors, but with some big changes. In a statement to the public, Zoo Atlanta says, Zoo Atlanta has transitioned to a timed ticketing system to control capacity and limit the number of guests who are inside the zoo at any given time. Tickets may only be purchased online, and all transactions within the zoo will be paperless with no cash transactions. Visitors also won't receive a paper map like usual, just a digital one. At Graceland, there's also a major limitation on the number of visitors who will be inside the mansion or on the property at any given time. Majority owner Joel Weinshanker says on a busy summer day, Graceland can see up to 3,200 guests. Now the day will be capped at just 800 guests.
What would you want to tell the public about Graceland's opening and what to expect?
For a very short period of time, what you can expect is the greatest experience you've ever had because it's really like everyone's taking a private tour. But that's not really the important thing. What we're doing is we're trying to help open up America.
Weinshaker says Graceland is a huge part of Memphis's tourism and brings a lot of business to the city. Graceland acknowledges they'll already be losing a lot of domestic and international tourists who would have had to get on a plane to visit.
It's not about making any money. We're actually going to lose money until we can get back to a realistic capacity. And we actually financially might have done better not opening up. But this is really about getting America back to some normalcy.
Graceland employees will be wearing these specially designed polyester and cotton masks, and they'll also be for sale to visitors.
Until we have something where a herd immunity or a vaccine that's available to the masses, we're not going to be back to 100%. But you know what? America at 75% is still better than any other place on the planet.
Graceland may increase its visitor limitations as time goes on, but doesn't expect they'll be back to normal for at least another year. I'm Jessica Parrish reporting.
And we looked into where some Indiana attractions stand. A reopening date is not set yet at the Indianapolis Zoo. The Children's Museum of Indianapolis is also temporarily closed until further notice. Holiday World plans to open for the season on June 17th, with the water park targeted to open on July 4th.
I'm Dave First as we continue to honor the outgoing spring sport class. It's called the RTV6 Senior Salute. We head to Avon High School, meet Mackenzie Allen, dedicated to the 1400 meter, part of a track family. Her mom and dad meeting at an indoor track meet 30 years ago at the old RCA Dome. Her older brothers, both involved in track as well, state champions to boot. Mackenzie just hoping to finish up her senior year like so many. We salute all seniors and await better days after graduation. I'm Dave First with another RTV6 Senior Salute.
Victorious Arts, and I approve this message.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
A popular brewery in Greenwood made the transition to carry-out only. Now it's welcoming customers back inside with the mandated restrictions. Our Brad Brown shows how the community has supported the Oak and Barrel throughout the pandemic and vice versa.
Down in Greenwood, the OB is one of the OGs of Indiana's craft brewing industry.
You know, when this first happened, my brewers were skeptical how much beer they need to brew. Then 2 weeks into it, they were scurrying to make a bunch more beer because we were going through so fast.
Oak and Barrel was able to make the quick adjustment to carry-out service only. Now they're welcoming customers back into their dining room, and the vibe is coming back as well.
They're happy. They want to drink beer, and it makes me happy. You know, it's nice to see kind of somewhat of the normalcy, the noise level and the sights of people drinking beer and acting normal is a great feeling.
For more than 25 years, Oak and Barrel has been brewing up some of Indiana's best beers. Owner Quan Casey and his staff were able to weather through the past 8 weeks.
We've done some great marketing, and our regular customers appreciated it. They come get their growler and 6-packs, and people have been buying kegs and stuff, so we've been good.
The Oak and Barrel team is also giving back to those working on the front lines. Quan has a personal connection, and his generosity has spread throughout the Greenwood community.
I have a daughter who's a nurse at a hospital in Texas. And I don't know what she's going through with ICU units. And I have such a close ties with a Franciscan hospital here in Indy. And I wanted to do something for the nurses. And that kind of started a chain reaction. Other business people say, hey, I'm helping you, I'm helping the nurses. Let me pay for next meal. So we've been doing a lot of meals.
The suds and the smiles are coming back. Hopefully a little more with each week ahead.
I emphasize to my staff and my customers, you know, it's baby steps. We don't want to mess it up. We want to keep the numbers flat and going down so we can continue doing this until we get back to fully, you know, open 100%.
Working for you in Greenwood, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Brad, thank you. RTV6 and the Indy Chamber of Commerce have joined together to help protect Indiana businesses. You can find more about the Chamber's Buy Indy effort on our website, theindychannel.com/open.
Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
Fog and drizzle in the morning, a little sunshine in the afternoon. We move from 60 at 9 a.m. to 74 tomorrow afternoon. Mark, enjoy the warmth.
I like that, Kevin. Thank you so much. And thank you all at home for making RTV6 your choice for news. GMI comes your way at 4:30. Thanks for joining us. Have a good evening, everybody.